Hello all and welcome.
Well, it's something after 7 o'clock. It's a Thursday, not Friday, but it's update day. Welcome folks to Conan Exiles, Age of Heroes, Chapter 1. So a brand new age here for Conan Exiles, here on both PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Brand new update just dropped today, so lots of exciting new things, including a main feature labelled as Living Settlements, which we'll take a look at.
Good evening, lads.
Including some other interesting little bits that I've kind of discovered there. I don't know if they were in the public beta, but we shall have a look and see. And we'll have a bit of a wander around the map as well and check out a couple of the other features, see what's going on. Check there's nothing else that's not working that should be, or have a look what is working or isn't working properly. Hopefully all positive, but we'll see. Let's investigate together. But as always, we'll start with the bazaar screen for the store as usual. Very interesting looking shop as always, and of course there you've got the main feature tab, which is the new observatory set, is it called? Very, very interesting looking. I bet there'll be some interesting builds made with this. We shall have to see what happens. So, Angar, good evening sir, I hope you're well, good to see you. Unusual, I know, for me being here on a Thursday rather than a Friday, but since it was update day and it's our first look at the new age, I thought we'd do it today rather than wait until tomorrow, then it's all brand new to everybody, isn't it? But yeah, before we get into all of that, I've made a few little changes to the build. I say little, there's a few bits that we've added on, a few bits I've tweaked on it, so it's a little bit different to last time. As you can see, we've got a dragon head up there at the top from the Red Mother, and also the central tower is slightly taller as well. And then we've also got two little additions on either side of the subsidiary towers, if you want to call them that I've added on. That'll be a bit more obvious why I've added those on when we go inside, but we'll have a look.
Live on day zero, grinning, squinting face.
So we'll take a look at that. I'll show you guys around again so you can see kind of what's changed to last time. A few bits added and a few bits changed, obviously. A bit more decorating done to it. But yeah, I was messing around on my Sipta server a little while ago today. Just to have a look at things. So I haven't placed any crafters or anything down on here as yet, or done anything on here. I've just been doing it on there. Quite impressed, I would say, so far with things. There are a few little things that I do see as a bit of a teething problem, which may get fixed or may not be. But yeah, we shall see. Some definite good bits that I thought were interesting. That again, as I point them out, I'm sure you'd be able to tell me whether, Angar, whether they were in the public beta or not. One of them I found is actually quite interesting because it reminded me of when you did your video about living settlements and those people sleeping on your bed. But we'll get to that in good time. And a couple of other fun things as well that I think just add to the whole atmosphere a little bit more, which I don't know, again, I haven't read any patch notes yet, so I don't know if it was in there or not, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they were or if it's I don't know, we'll have to see. But yeah, like I say, I've raised the central tower slightly and the roof is slightly different with the windows, but you'll see why when we get in there. And I've added a couple of little statues just at either side and moved the flags off the two towers. just at either side of the stairs now. So if we go on in, ignore this fireplace, that's just there for a reason. We'll look at that shortly, just to kind of display something, but we'll come to that one. Interesting thing I have found so far, this is supposed to be, or was, Freya. So before she became the new quest companion. And I don't know if you can just tell there, her name's actually different. And this is literally who was Freya. I had her as an archer, but now it says she's called Helga. I think that isn't. It says she's a fighter. Now I haven't spawned her in. She is what was a fully leveled up Freya. Pardon me, which is a surprise. I didn't see that one because I went and collected her and Dina, who I had at my other base, and yeah, surprisingly, wait a minute, you're supposed to be Freya. Why is your So yeah, her name's different. So that's an interesting one. These rooms are all the same, just ready to go as we did before. One of the things, as I say, with the extra little towers that I've added on, if we go into our side tower here, this is now one of the small towers which now has this in it. Hence why I've got a smaller tower at either side, because I realised when I'd done it I hadn't got anywhere for the set altars or shrines, for example. So we've got that one in here. And then if we come back out and go across the other side, obviously we've still got our transitory stone there, but then our next tower, we've got the Ymir altar at this side. So that's what the two smaller towers are, just to give us obviously somewhere to keep the altars without them being... I could have had them outside, but rather than all be enclosed somewhere as well. And then under our stairs, we've now got a doorway here, because again we've got another tower added onto the back, which is going to be a stable to keep what will be my camel when I move it here, and my couple of horses that I've got. At times they'll be over here. So they're tucked in a little tower that's now off the stairs at the back, which is pretty cool. So we go up again. This is all laid out. I have been finding that you've got to space your chairs a bit further away from the tables, because they do seem to be getting stuck on tables, which is a little bit weird. Sometimes they kind of figure it out and get themselves out of it, but other times they were getting a bit, yeah, it was a bit weird. So I just had to check something then. But yeah, these rooms are all the same, ready to go. I haven't actually made any uniforms for my crafters yet as well, so another thing, if you've got a couple of crafters from different professions that both have the same appearance, you're going to have to be very good at remembering who's who to give them their outfit, unless you see them working at the bench when they are, because otherwise you could get them muddled up. I've had to move my alchemy into here, because I did have it here, but I found something interesting with this as well. I don't know if this was working or shown in the beta, but obviously again, when you used to place a cook on here, it was either this side or the opposite side. They used to sit in the front of it, didn't they? So if we take, I think it's this one, our cook that I've now got, you see that ghost symbol at the side there. If I put her in the world now, that is what I think that should have been doing in the first place. How much more realistic is that now? Instead of your cook just standing there with a finger over the mouth thinking what to do, they're actually sat at the side of the spit roast turning it. That's one of the cool things that I found that actually made me smile with that. Really, really good. It's a really good change, that. Hence why I had to move my alchemy in that other room, so that I could move one of the fridges over there to give the space for that. Now, to some people that might not be a very, very big thing, but to people who like realism, I don't think you can get much more real than that, can you? I don't know if anybody else has
Never
noticed that.
actually used the bench before. Looks good.
Yeah, I didn't think they did. Yeah, they sort of just stood, didn't they, like in the thoughtful. What was the emote now? Let me think. Where have I got it? Relax. No. Expressions. They sort of stood doing that, didn't they? Like they'd be stood at the fire, like and they'd like put a hand down every so often and then pick it up again, and sort of in that animation. But now, if they're working on there, they will actually hit literally, and the smoke effect as well from the flame, as if it's actually literally cooking it, which I think is really, really good. Even though it's not being used, I've not got anything on there. I think that's really, really good. I've not seen them working on the stove yet, but from the ghost image, they obviously stand and do a bit more with the hands and actually look like they're working, which is pretty cool. But yeah, as people would know from the beta and everything, obviously just like fighters and archers, you can access their inventory now, so we'll be able to take her weapon off her. She's not going to need that in here. But we'll be able to give her a proper clothing set or an armour set or something to wear if we want to, so we'll look at that at some point. Which is really, really good, I think. Yeah, I mean, that's just with them. Obviously it works with all of them as well the same way. I'm just going to pop this other one in there for a minute, just so I don't get them muddled up, because that was a spare one. I don't know how long she'll do that for, but I think they do it for a little while and eventually she'll wander off and do something. But what I have noticed, and again I don't know if this was in the beta or not, or in the updated version towards the end, you'll know, Angar, if you go to the beds and things, if you hold the interact button on it, you've got an option now for disable thrall use or enable thrall use. So obviously I want them to use these, so I'm going to keep that on. And I like the fact that you don't have to have doors left open. You can let the door close and that they'll still open and close it. I think that's really, really good. Really good that they can actually open the door. This is why people were saying, like, for PvP, be careful, because your crafters might walk out of your base. But yeah, if you've got your bed, for example, which...
Yeah, that isn't new.
This is
Just saw that today.
Ah, yeah, this is a changed bit to my room. I'll show this again properly in a second. But yeah, if you interact with your bed, for those who don't know, and then click, that won't say enable for you, it'll say disable. So if you disable it, if you've got any workers that want to go and try and sleep somewhere, they won't come and use your bed, even if it's within range, because if it's within range of them, they will go and use it. Whereas if it's not, they won't. Which is, yeah, we needed that. So yeah, I've raised the tower up again. It's the same level here, but what I've done is put a couple of sets of stairs in here, either side of my doorway, kind of angled it rather than having it straight. We've got the bathroom facilities, shall we call them, and then a nice bath in behind the screen, so that's tucked in there out of the way. So I carried the windows on the same, but then added this sort of mezzanine level now, which has my cupboards and things in it, and again the bed that you've just seen. The reason why I've put a fireplace downstairs, I don't know if you've seen it at all, Angor. When your crafters are wandering around now, I was wandering around on Sipter and I'd gone into the house at the back of our base, and I saw somebody sat on the floor in front of the fire, and I thought, have they just come off the bench and it's just glitched and they're not working right, or are they actually sat in front of it? So, like you do, tried my interact with the fireplace again and I noticed that. So again, you can select whether you want thralls, as they're called on here, friends as we like to call them, whether they can interact with the fireplace or not. So obviously again, I've got this one disabled because it's in my quarters up here. But it seems that any chair, any bench, or a bed or fireplace, if you don't want them to interact with it, you can disable it. Which I didn't know that was a thing again with the fireplaces, but it just gives another little touch to it, and I think just gives it a bit more of a real feel again. Yeah, they'll go sit near the fire if they want to, which is pretty cool. It's just making a bit more of an emphasis on the whole living settlements side of things. She's still turning that roast, look. Right, if we go down again a minute, because I want to see if they'll do it, but I don't know if they will. Which is why I just dumped this one here. If we go in here, where have I put my... Got a box somewhere with my people info down here. Where have I put the box with the people in? There it is. We just grab that one. And then we'll place this person down for the moment, as you say. So now we're fighting, for those who don't know. Same as your fighters, your archers and your dancers, you can now place your crafters on your hot wheel. So for those on console, it's a case of hovering over them and adding them to your, your hot wheel. Point them where you want to pop them down, because you can't just hotbar them and then put them on the station. You have to place them in the world first. So she's going to wander off, and she's decided to go to the casting table, which again, another cool little feature, again with the little anvil and the hammer there, not sitting down in this corner with the hands on the bucket sort of thing like they were doing before. Obviously that's my armourer, but an armourer, not armourer, sorry, blacksmith, and they can work on there, as we can see now. So that shows us we've got them available. But if we go to our blacksmith bench and also interact with that, again, even though that blacksmith, or bladesmith as they are, is not on this bench, like as it's been mentioned, you can quite clearly see there that we're still going to get the benefits of the bladesmith. Same on the bench over here. Now if we pull out a durability blacksmith, again we'll then have the options for durability blacksmith or the bladesmith. Same with the tinkerer's bench. Even though she's not at the bench, we're still getting the benefit of the bladesmith of having the tier 4 on there. Now I don't know how long it'll be that she'll carry on working or do that, but or whether we'll even get to see it, but that's why I've just chucked this one down just to see if it does happen. But we'll have to see. But yeah, they were literally, she was sat cross-legged on the floor in front of the fire, but we'll see what happens with that one. But you can either place them on the floor and they'll then walk off themselves to a station, or obviously you can pick them up and place them straight to a station yourself as well, which is really, really nice. Another cool thing I found, which again, I don't know if this is in the notes or was even mentioned at first, that if you've got armour display stands laying around, and I noticed my taskmaster doing this on Sipta, when she was wandering around, obviously on their break time, again if you interact with your armour display stand, you've got an option for disable thrall use. Now this doesn't mean thrall use as in they're going to take the armour off it. What they'll do is they'll randomly at times walk up and stand and admire it and stand there for a minute or two looking at the armour set and then walk away. Which again was another feature I didn't know about and I was really surprised about it. Because I noticed the extra button again and thought, what's this? And oh, because I didn't actually interact with one of those before. I just saw my Taskmaster doing it, and I thought, why is she? Ah, that's new. So that's another cool thing to look out for, which is really, really good. Are you still? No. Now, she's obviously sat down at some point to obviously eat her food, but stood up and decided she wants to go back to work. But as we can tell there, a little bit buggy with the space. She's obviously getting a bit stuck. Well, you can just kind of move them, but I don't know if she'll then go and start working again from there, because it says that she's guarding now. But what we could do is ask her to go over here, pop her on there, and yeah, she don't want to work on there very long. But now whether that's just because that's their way of they're taking a breather a minute, or she's not working properly, don't actually know. But she's actually stirring the pot of food that's on the stove, which is really, really nice. But yeah, I don't know if that's a bug when they keep stopping like that, or whether that is part of the whole, you know, they don't just do it continuously, they will actually stop a minute and take a breather. And oh yep, there we go. Where's she going? Oh, she's gone for a sit down, but this time she's gone over this other side. And there we go. All that work she's done already, and she's already hungry. She's only done a little bit of cooking and she's already hungry. How about that? But yeah, we can change her outfit eventually as well. Frost, good to see you. How are you? Hope you're good. Welcome on in. But yeah, so this one will get her outfit changed eventually. I just haven't got around to it on here yet. I've had other things that I've been doing and putting video ideas together and preparations and what have you, and other
Good man and you.
real life stuff, as they say. So I've not really had time to make armour sets or outfit sets for these guys yet, but I will do eventually. Yeah, doing alright, thank you. Like I say, just busy as ever. Certainly intrigued by the new features and got today's update downloaded and messed about with it a little bit on Sipter, but wanted to wait for it on here so that we could all have a look at it together. Sure, some people will have already seen some bits by now, but it's always good, I suppose, if you're a PC player to see how it's working on console kind of thing. So she'll obviously sit and eat that and then go off and do something else. So blacksmith's still working down here. Yep, she's still working away there. Now obviously I'm just going to leave a weapon on a minute as well, just so I know who she is, because I don't think when you interact with them like that there's a way that you can know what profession they are again. Unless you're very good at remembering the names of what they're called to know what they do. Now obviously because she's on there I can see who she is and that she's the bladesmith, so I could go and make her outfit and then change it while she's on the station, so at least I'd know who I was doing it for. But yeah, really, really good. We've then also got, I'm not going to put them all out yet because obviously I don't want to confuse things too much again, but this is our Taskmaster that we had. So place her down, she's going to go and chill over here and stand and watch an empty wheel a minute, but again, you can see there it shows that she's on the wheel. And also again we're getting the benefits on the table as well. Oh, wrong button. Get rid of that box now, that was just temporary because she was in it. Again, she's going to get a different clothing set and an armour set. Again, she doesn't need her weapon because she's going to be inside. But pretty good, because I know, Ango, you'd mentioned it in the past, didn't you, when you used to sink these into the floor, it was a bit weird because your Taskmaster would sink under the flooring with it because of how they lined up with the bench. But now that they're actual people, they actually stand on the floor, which is really good. They don't, so you can have that sunk into the floor and your Taskmaster won't disappear underneath the floor with it. So really, really good. Yep, Bladesmith's still working away.
Ha
She's a...
ha, I was just typing that face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy.
Well, yeah, it was, wasn't it? There was a thing where they, yeah. Are you stuck again, young lady? Yeah, I might have to change this with this seat. It shouldn't be a thing, but it seems to be a problem, unfortunately. I just think, just seems when your chairs are too far back, it seems daft because you know they're sat half a mile away from the table. But then what can you do if they're going to get stuck all the time? Hopefully she'll figure it out in a minute and get herself moving. But yeah, I am liking what I've seen so far. Like I say, that could be a teething problem with it. That if this was like this in the beta and this is what people are on about, like Kaya mentioned this, if you want to see your crafters stuck on tables and what have you, hopefully if it's a problem, this is something that gets sorted in the future, because obviously we don't want it to carry on like this if they want the freedom to be able to walk around. Now I haven't tested obviously with the big bonfire type thing or anything yet as to whether crafters can interact with those the same as they can a normal fire. So will a blacksmith go and sit next to a real fire or things like that? We'll have to have a look at that and see. Where's our blacksmith gone? She's not in here. Where's she gone? Has she come out here? No. Where did she go? Oh, she's here, look, there we go. Walk right past her. So yeah, if you've got an armor display stand in your base, as long as you leave it enabled, your crafters, whoever they are, will come out, and if they're just taking a breather, they'll come and stand and admire your armor sets that you have. Now, whether they'll still do this if you don't have any armor on the stand because it's empty, whether they recognise that or whether they'll not bother, I don't know. Oh, yeah, there you go. Right on cue. It's as if I told her to do that. How cool is that? So if you've got a fireplace in your base, expect to see this at times. Your crafter might go and sit by your fire if you've got it enabled. Even though it's the desert, she wants a nice little warm-up. There we go. How cool is that? Well, that is pretty good, I would say. Another cool little fun feature that I didn't know about. And they'll quite happily just sit there and... Yeah, obviously this won't be staying here, but that just shows you that if you've got a nice little bonfire, well, fireplace as this is, you may well see one of your crafters sat in front of the fire at some point. Now she may want food in a minute, which means she'll get up from there and hopefully she'll wander upstairs to where the food is. Let's see what's our taskmaster doing now. She's still stood watching an empty wheel, so she's not ready for any food or anything yet. You still haven't figured it out, have you? You're still stuck again, aren't you? Let me just put you on the chair again and see if you figure it out. You're not going to go on the chair, are you? What about if you go in that one? Yeah, see, so I don't know if this is a bug or not. if that's what people were on about, but ideally that would have been nice if that had been sorted. She doesn't seem to do that very long. Now, whether that is a problem or whether that's just them taking a breather and then they'll walk and do something else, I don't know. But I think certainly getting stuck on the tables is a bit of an issue by the look of it. So we'll have to be wary of that one. Has she moved yet, or is she still sat by the fire? No, she's gone again. Well, this time she's on the blacksmith bench, so she's gone back into the blacksmithing room again. But this time she's sat on the bench. Well, stood at the bench rather. And obviously, like before, where it used to have the slot where the person would be. This will certainly make life easier on PvE servers. I mean, PvP might be different now because you can't nick people's thralls, as they're called, but you could lose them if you get...
Seen them standing about, then suddenly start working. Think it might be on a timer to trigger their different options.
Yeah, that's true. It could be. Could be just time. There's a bit of a time delay for right, I've done that. Wait a minute. What shall I do now? Kind of thing. Yeah,
How's
possibly.
everyone doing? Did not expect a Thursday stream.
Well, no, I don't think a lot of people did, to be honest. But as I mentioned in Angar's stream on Sunday, and I have posted it as well, I said I would be doing tonight instead of Friday because obviously, with it being release day today, I thought we'd have a look at the update today rather than wait until tomorrow, so it's all fresh on the day. But yeah, quite impressed with it so far. Certainly with the living settlement side to it. As I was saying a few times, it's certainly going to make making videos interesting because obviously if I was stood here doing an intro for a video with her working in the background, I'd have to not flinch if she suddenly stops and walks away to go and do something else. So we'll have to be prepared for that one. Excuse me. But yeah, very, very cool nonetheless. And you just gradually just do this with all of your people. I'm pretty much not going to do this with all of mine yet, only because I don't want to end up placing them all down.
Hear you, lads. Hi, chat.
And then getting them muddled up for who is who, because obviously...
I missed the end of Angar's stream. Sorry, boss. Had to run to the store low.
Oh, don't worry. No, you're good. You're fine. Not a problem. You know, real life stuff has to carry on. Don't apologise. No, not a problem. That's why I popped it in the community tab as well, just so that people were aware and they knew what was going on. And I was going to wait and do it Friday, but then I'm kind of thinking, am I not better doing something on launch days because it potentially might get more interest? You know, it's certainly fresher for people. If I left it till tomorrow, a lot of people may not join because they'll have already tried it and they'll know what's going on. So it's kind of like, yeah, kind of defeats the object. Here we are. Robert, good to see you. Hello. Welcome on in. Hope things are good. And Kathy Ann as well. Hello, good to see you. Hope you're both well. Here we are. Chapter 1. What's new, what's working and what ain't working.
I haven't even checked out the update yet, lol. Been on NMS trying to find the last part for my new hauler.
Oh, very nice. Cool. Yeah, well, I haven't done very much. Like I say, I played around on Sipter a little bit, but I've not done anything on here. I purely wanted to do all this with you guys tonight, so here we are. So again, now this is our smelter. Like Angar has showed in videos I've got 2 furnaces here. So again, unlike the barkeep where you have them...
About myself was a bit weird watching my tanner put down tools, walk and into the bar, sat down, and started eating, beaming face with smiling eyes.
Yeah.
Had my dad over. Been sorting out the crafters.
Ah, cool. Yeah, no, you've got to spend time with family, absolutely. Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it, when you just see them just wander off. But yeah, unlike with the barkeep, when you've got them on your bar and you can get the ghost image and place them, you actually have to place them in the world. So if we place her down, interact with her again, we could take a weapon off her, we could change her clothing, but not going to do that just yet. But again, 2 furnaces, so she's chose to go to this one. If we interact with it, as we can see, shows us there that we're getting the tier 4 benefits from her. But in the past, you also needed, if you had 2 furnaces, you needed 2 smelters. Not anymore. Because if I put something in here, and I was going to...
Barkeepers vanished. All of ours disappeared.
I was going to craft it in here, so some iron or whatever. I used to need another smelter in here, but as we can see, we now don't, because we also get the benefits from
it's
our other...
when you turn around and the crafter is stood right behind you.
So if we want to craft something in here, we'll still get the same benefits as what she's given us in there, in this one. Yeah, I know, yeah. Could you imagine me doing a video? I'm stood this way explaining something and I spin round and she's stood there right behind me. That would make you jump a little bit, wouldn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we must have just missed that. She must have just been sat next to the fire. That is our taskmaster, so if I follow her again, I just want to see now. Is she going to go back to the wheel or is she going on the bench? No. She's gone on the bench this time. So again, she's going to get a different outfit as well eventually. But as you can see there, she's giving us the benefits on the bench. But also, if we threw somebody in the wheel to tame them up, they're still going to get the same bonuses because she's also in charge of the wheel as well. So instead of needing 2 taskmasters now, one for your wheel, one for your friendship table, shall we call it, you now don't need 2. You can just use 1.
Yeah, that's what I heard, boss man. Was just seeing if lads experienced it.
With regards to barkeeps disappearing, I haven't actually been to my tavern on here yet. That's a very good point. We'll have to go over to the tavern at the admin shop and have a look. Because that shouldn't have happened. Yeah. Alright, give me a minute and we'll go check that out. For those that have just arrived, right at the very beginning I was explaining that I've added a couple of new little towers on to the existing towers at either side, and what I've done is I've got this tower here which has got our set shrine in it, so it's not nowhere near as big as the other towers, but we've got this one leading off this tower, and then if we run around the other side we've got another doorway here, and we've now got a Ymir altar in this side. Because again, like I was saying earlier, I didn't want to just have the altars out in the open, because not only that, your poor old flipping priest would have to walk from outside inside all the time. Not that that's an issue, but just to recap again, for those who've just joined and may have missed it, as you can see, if you have an armour display stand out on display, now I don't know if this works with no armour in it, I've got to test this yet, but if you've got an armour set in an armour display stand, as you can see, the blacksmith wants to take a breather and she's come out and she's stood looking at the armour display stand. Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? And then she's gone back in. Where's she going this time? Let's see. Going across to the Tinkerer's bench this time, so it seems like each time they go back, they go to a slightly different bench each time. And obviously the more people you have working in here, then obviously she's a bladesmith, so if you had a...
like a tall cold glass of raspberry iced tea. Yum. If looks could kill.
Yeah, if looks could kill, exactly. She might do if I give her a good weapon and some good armour, though. Yeah. If we had a durability armour, I keep saying armour, blacksmith in here as well, you'd have 2 people working in this area, which would be really good. Now, as I say, this was only temporary for those who just joined, but I'll explain why again if we catch somebody near it. But she's still sat working away on there, so she's obviously quite happy sat there even though there's nothing in it. But yeah, if you don't want your crafters to be admiring your armor sets, so your armor display stands, if you use your interact button, which for those of us on PS4 and PS5 is your square button, you've now got this option. Disable thrall use, or disable friend use as we're going to call it, or enable friend use. Now, if I didn't want people to be able to them to stop and look at those when they're walking around, I could disable that and they'll ignore it as if it's not there. And that same feature...
I think she would be better working alone. Dread to see the look she would give her / him.
Oh, I know, right? Could you imagine? I mean, they might get on like best pals, but yeah, I know what you mean. That feature also counts to fireplaces. So if you've got a nice fireplace in your place, you might find one of your crafters, unless you turn this off. So unless you disable the use there, if you go back about 5-10 minutes in the stream, you'll see somebody sat here. I think it was our bladesmith actually. They come out and they like to sit in front of the fireplace, which is quite a cool feature to see, to be honest. Has she moved again? Nope. So yeah, and also on the Tinkerer's bench now they're actually using the little anvil piece that's there and their hammer and thing there, which is really, really good. But once you start placing all your different...
I also heard somewhere that jailers that are on Thrall are now on exiled lands. I don't know how true it is though.
Yes, the jailers are now on exile lands. I'm going to come to those at some point as well. We're going to go to a couple of different areas and have a look, and I'll point them out for you, where the jailers are and what they look like, and where you can get them. But yes, that is quite correct. They are also on here as well. They are not dressed in Silent Legion the same as they are on Sipter, but they are still called jailers, and there are cages that you can rescue people from as well, which is quite true. Well, we will come to that very, very shortly, so stick around. Just coming back to this feature with the fireplaces, so that feature with your fireplace and your armor display stand also relates to any chairs or benches or stools that you have. If you interact with them, if you don't want your crafters to be able to sit on them, just disable it, which I've done here, which is why nobody's sat on that one. These two are because obviously that is Dina Master Huntress and that was Freya, but she's now got a different name and she's now a fighter, not an archer. That was a fully leveled up Freya that I had.
Click on that and protect your bed.
But yeah, so the old
I just
Freya...
realized the gremlin's gonna be mad you didn't wait for her to get home from school to start. Lol.
Oh, sorry about that. You'll have to, if she's not back in time, you'll have to play it at some point for her, let her watch it through again. But there will be a video on all of this as well, so... but yeah, this was Freya. I haven't named her that, that's what she's now called. She's now actually called that, and obviously still got the same leveled up stats from what she was as a follower as I had. And I can show that she's still my follower because I can get her to stand up and follow me. So this was Freya, but she's now got a different name, which is, yeah, and I tried looking for Freya in the admin panel as well, and it says Heirs of the North Freya or Heirs of the North Freya Hostile, and I spawned them both in, and all you get is this one with the coarse clothing on. So it's not even Freya, even though it says it is. And then the hostile version is a totally different character model again. So it's, yeah, totally different now. But yeah, for those who didn't see at the very, very beginning, where's she gone? I bet she's gone upstairs to bed, hasn't she? Where's she gone? Where's she gone? Where's the cook gone? Let's go and check. So yeah, you don't have to leave doors open either because your crafters can open doors themselves. And yeah, there we go. Lone fisherman, she's come upstairs to bed. So she's done a bit of cooking and she's already tired. Poor thing. But as you can see there, she's come up and she's used the bed and she's opened the door herself. So you can leave your door shut internally if you like.
To Gremlin. Funkum told us they weren't gonna mess with the old Freya if we had her.
Well, yeah, it looks like they have, because I even filled 2 vaults up with Freya before we had the update, in case people still wanted an OG Freya. And I've just been and checked them, and they're all now a fighter with that name as well. So it looks like they have changed things. But just to quickly come back to the build again, I've raised this up slightly because if you remember, this was my sort of bedroom I was doing at first. But we've now got a staircase there that goes around my door to a sort of mezzanine level, and we've got the nice bath in between behind the screen. And then if I go up here,
serious. Face with steam from nose, face with steam from nose.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that one. Absolutely. So what I did here is I've clicked on these and disabled it on them.
I don't know why I'm surprised about Funkum over-promising and under-delivering.
Well, yeah, I think we all feel like that sometimes, don't we? So I know what you mean. Yeah. So again, same with the chairs. I've disabled it on these because I don't want them coming up and using this fire or these chairs. And this is my bed. So again, interact.
Just checked and mine are Helga's too.
That says enable thrall use, but I don't want them to do that, so I've disabled it. So even if all those beds end up full, nobody will come up and use this bed. Ah, right. So it's the same with yours as well. So who is Helga then? If she's now called Helga, the question is, if she is a normal, tameable friend, shall we say, where do we get her from? Because looking at the stats, the way I looked at a base version of her earlier, and I think it said 20 in strength and 15 or something in vitality and lower HP. Looked a bit more like the Dogs of the Desert type numbers, but I could be wrong. So yeah, that tower's been extended a bit, and that's now my living quarters. And as I showed the 2 extra little towers, if we come back down again, apologies for anyone who suffers with vertigo like I do running down all the stairs, but that's, oh yeah, there you go, look. Oh, there's 2 of them, here now, chatting away, sitting around a fire. Now I've yet to try that with a bonfire and see if it works as well, because that's a fireplace that you've got in your building.
Nauseated face, nauseated face, nauseated face.
So if you've got your fire in your house and you don't want your crafters coming in out of their workshop and using your fire in your house, disable it. Don't let them do it. Otherwise they will do. But yeah, quickly for those who have just seen those 2 little towers, that's that one. And then that's the other one, which just now lead off that tower. And then the main tower has just had the windows slightly changed for in my bedroom area. And then we've got a red mother head just on the front of the tower and a couple of statues either side. So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to place all those people down as yet because I want to make some outfits for them. Even if I just find the basic clothing that I'm going to put on them first.
Every build needs a red mother head.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What I'll probably do is find the basic clothing style that I'm going to give that person, chuck it on them temporarily. So then if I'm going to make an actual armour set for them with that appearance, I can then do that and then swap it over just so that I don't forget what was for who. Otherwise it might get confusing. Because if you've got... I know, obviously, that Dale and Drinker is a smelter. But if you've got a blacksmith and a carpenter that just has their name and you can't necessarily remember all of the names for everybody all the time, then obviously it's going to get confusing to give the right person the right outfit. But on the living settlements front, I think that is, shall we say, a 9 out of 10?
Good evening.
8.5, 9 out of 10. I would have said, yeah, 8.5, let's say then. So 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 to 9 out of 10 on the living settlement side to it.
Hi, Mackay.
Not really a 10 because there are a few little teething issues
I'm
as it,
still
well,
stuck on how I'm going to dress all these new friends. It was hard enough settling on the Yamate style I'm using.
I bet. Could have given it 10, but I think that's being too generous if we're being honest, and I don't mean to sound awful. Not going to go any lower than 8.5 because I think that's been a bit too critical.
She has
Love the
same
fact of
stats
these.
stats, HP and damage multipliers as Freya had.
Oh, right, so she's kind of another Freya then, just a different.
I am using a basic get-up for crafters.
She's just a different person then. Like another person who's replacing what would have been Freya, but obviously not from Freya's hovel. So it's going to be interesting to know where she spawns then. Yeah, so I'm saying 8.5 to 9 out of 10 because extra features which I didn't expect was things like this. That for those who are just joining, as you can see, your crafters will sit near a fireplace.
The same as Freya, then not too bad.
If you have one, if you've got it enabled for friends to use it, they will sit near your fireplace. This isn't staying here, this is just temporary because I discovered this earlier today on Sipta and wanted to show you guys. So yeah, if you've got a nice cosy fire, you might get one or you might get two of them. They'll come and do that, which is cool. Again, happens with these as well. Armor display stands, you can disable it or enable it on these, so your blacksmith or whoever might wander out of here and they'll stand and admire your armor set for a few minutes.
Long lost sisters, cousins, aunt's former college roommate.
She could be. Could be any of those, yeah, absolutely. The big test will be how good is she? If she had the same stats as Freya, how good as a fighter will she be? This one's technically already leveled up, but that's because I'm guessing she's just been given, who was my level 20 Freya, the bonuses that she got when she leveled up. Because she is a normal follower. She's not the companion one. She's just a regular follower, so we'll have to see with that one and test that out. But yeah. So again, if we nip back up to our feasting hall. So she's sat down again. So that's the cook. Sorry to interrupt your food, young lady, but we need to show something. Those of you that have got the spit roast, as it's called, if you remember how your crafters used to stand at the front of it, well now, if you either place them on it as soon as you place them down, or every now and again, this is how your spit roast will now work. And you even get the smoke or the steam coming off it as well. So how cool is that? And it's the same with the stoves. They'll come and stand here, and instead of just standing with a hand over the mouth as if they're thinking what to do, they will again.
Starstruck, that's cool. So here's the real question from War Party users like me. Can you have both Freya and Squid Boy follow at the same time?
I don't know. That's a very good question. But now they'll stand and she'll put a spoon in this bowl on here and actually stir it as if it's a pot of soup or stew or something making. But as you can see, I had to change it because I did have my stove here originally, if you remember, and then my alchemy, which I've had to move into here because I've had to move a fridge to make space here because I didn't know they were going to do that. But I just think that looks really effective now. You can almost smell it.
Poor Krolls at yours later then. I'm now the hero to the rescue, lol.
Well, yeah, thanks everybody, that's good to know. There's definitely going to be a couple of videos that we can make out of all this, which is really good. Obviously there's too much to cover in a stream, but we'll certainly start looking at all of this. I'm not going to start the Freya quest tonight. We will go over to Freya's hovel and have a look and see where she is and everything, but I'm not going to start the quest today. So I want to try and do that in a video, although that's going to take a little while to do. Because if you've got this 8-hour time gate in it, I'll have to do the first bit, wait 8 hours, then record the next bit, and then, so it's going to take me probably a week to do it, because I don't think on console that we've got an admin command the same as on PC where you can skip time. I don't know if we've got one of those on console with the admin version. There may be, but I don't think so, or I'm not aware of it if there is. So that's something we'll have to look into, definitely. Just see, is our taskmaster down here, or is she wandering still? Oh no, she's back down here, so she's back down at the wheel. But yeah, a great thing on the sense that you don't need necessarily 2 of every crafter now, so you don't need 2 taskmasters, as I say, because one will cover both, unless you want one with the
Question labs. Let us know if / when you find out.
Durability perk or one of the other perks on it, so you want 2 different ones. Yeah, absolutely. It may be that I'd have to do his quest line as well to get him unlocked, because I don't know if you... Again, for Companion Freya and Angvar, let's get his name right, not Angar, don't get him confused. Yep, there you go. I don't know what their admin spawn names would be to get them, just to have them already complete. If there's a way to do that, I don't know what their spawn names would actually be on the admin commands, because obviously console is different to... We've got all the admin panel and everything, but it's different on console to PC. So I'd have to try and find out what their... I'll either have to wait till I've got both of them and then try it, or I'd have to try and see if there is a way to spawn them already leveled with the perks, shall we say, kind of thing. And then obviously we can test that out as to whether you can have both of them together. Can't see why not, but then you never know. It may be that you can't, because the Funcom might consider it too overpowered.
Afternoon, everyone. No, it's Angar. Funcom just changed a letter so the boss's missus didn't club him with a frying pan, lol.
Let's let me catch up with chat again. Who else have we got? Mickey, good to see you. Sorry I didn't get to your message earlier. Hope you're good. And was that Rex? It's just joined. Good to see you. Welcome on in. Hope everybody's good. Not as easy for me this with console because I don't necessarily get the same alerts. Oh, well, not alerts, but I don't have the chat up on my screen where it gives me people as they join. I've got to kind of glance at my phone every now and again when I can. So apologies on that front to anybody else who's here that I haven't caught your name. It's great to see you all, of course. Hope you're all well on a Thursday, not a Friday. So
that could have been in the game from the start. It's definitely better now, especially for those who roleplay.
So there'll be no stream from me tomorrow because obviously doing this one tonight, but normally it would be a Friday, but since as it was launch day for the update, we thought we'd do today instead. So in a way you could look at it that the weekend's a little bit longer, even if you've still got a day at work tomorrow. So yeah, this is one location. So we're down here on the river. So this would be what is the Defari faction. As we can see, there's somebody in the caves there. Don't know who he is or what level he is. But your jailer down here is this person who looks ready to clobber somebody with a hammer, which is your jailer, of course, dressed in the Defari outfit, and as many of you can probably tell, and it has been mentioned before as well, modelled off the Cannibal Brute, we're guessing, because of how tall they are and sort of the appearance. So this is your jailer, so you would kill them. Well, kill everybody around here really to make it safe to get your person out of the cage. They'll drop you your key, and then you can rescue your person from your cage. So unlike Sipta, where the jailer is always wearing the Silent Legion, on here you'll typically find them wearing, excuse me, clothing from the actual area that they're in. So that is an example of Defari, for example. So if we then go, come on map, all the way up north, we'll just teleport up to the mounds again in a minute. So if you get up into the north, and Angar, you mentioned this one in a video, and this was done for those who can remember it. So again, just for those who didn't see Angar's video or aren't sure or can't remember, the Circle of Doom or the Circle of Death or the Hill of Terror, whatever you want to call it.
Please listen. There isn't much time. I have a proposition.
So that is a barkeep in there, and obviously you'd have to come up from there, and if you come up onto this hill, so you'll have the cage to your right. You'll always have your, I think it's usually a tier 3 here, so you'll have them to deal with. You'll have your bearer sat down there, and then somebody here, and then you might get a Delincia sat around here, possibly if she's here. I think unless they've taken those spawns away, but right here is the jailer.
Is what I call it, lol.
Kind of dressed like a taskmaster, is he? Can you stand up a minute? Cute. Yeah. So he's dressed in the half Sumerian, not taskmaster, the Sumerian fur. Couldn't really just tell the way he was sat. So now I don't know if that means now that these are the only 2 spawns you'll get up here. Well, 3. Whether that will always be a bearer, then your fighter and your jailer. Because it did always used to be you had an extra spot here where Delincia would be. Now whether Delincia can be this spawn now instead, we're going to have to see with that. But I'm guessing this one will always be your jailer. Again, I'm going to have to test all of this and figure it out. It could change next time your jailer could be sat here. I don't think they'll ever be stood here, but they could be. Again, that's something we're going to have to test and figure out. But again, at the minute, that's a barkeep in there, and that one. Another, excuse me. Sorry old chap, but we're not here for you today, so. So again, they're still a jailer, but wearing the clothing for the region that he's in, so that's the Cimmerian fur armour, so that's what he would be wearing. And then if we take a little fly past this beautiful base here that belongs to our good friend Mr. Robert Mannix, which is a beautiful build, I must admit, in a nice little prominent position there. If we come into the den, yes, I am using cloak and creative mode for this just so that we don't aggro anything. But again, if you pop up to the back here, you've got your usual Jabal Sag priest, and then you've got your jailer here. So again, wearing the same sort of clothing as the people from this area. Now, whether that's a thing or whether it's a bug, there doesn't seem to be anybody in that cage at the minute. Now there could be, and there just isn't on this occasion, or whether it's bugged, I don't know, I'll have to see with that. But again, up at the back here where your belly dance emote is, which is probably one of the best emotes in the game and also my favourite as well. You can learn this, get yourself a jailer's key and potentially a person out of here. Like I say, I'll have to see if this is bugged or not. But pretty much a lot of the areas that you go to where you've got your big settlements, you will now find a jailer with a cage. So that's at the den. So while we're just exploring and kind of seeing what's working and isn't working, let me, if I remember the right spot, go over to where my admin shop is on the server, because we've got a tavern above there. And I'm just wondering if the same thing has happened with that barkeep, as you've been saying. Because that isn't very good. If that has happened. If I can remember where my bar shop is. A bit further away from it than I thought I was, but... Ignore that building next to it, that had 2 vaults in it with what I thought was going to be Freya's, but I now, whatever the new Helga fighter was called again, so won't need that, I'll be able to get rid of it again, because it's not still Freya like I thought it was going to be. Oh dear. Yeah, where's the barkeep gone? That's not good. I had a barkeep in here. Maybe I should have taken them out as well. Hence why there's nobody in the bar. So yeah, that looks like a big problem right there. The barkeep that was here has gone.
Probably having a few with Seth.
Obviously they can't disappear underneath, because underneath, which is here, is my stairs. So there's a big issue straight away. I don't know if this is the same thing on PC, but I suggest that's something that everybody has a look at, and whether you're Xbox, PlayStation, PC, I suggest we all have a good look at that and get onto the forums and report that, because that is a big problem. We all kind of thought there's bound to be some sort of an issue.
I'm
but
on PC. My barkeep disappears.
Yours has disappeared as well. Ah. Yeah, so people need to get on the forums and report that to the developers. We'll get on there and report it to them, and hopefully they'll address it, because that's not very good. So yeah, if I just pull out one of these, as you can see, still looks like Freya, still has the bow. But now classed as a fighter and called Helga. And that's the...
Let's know about it already.
Ah, right. Well, I suppose there's no surprise there then, is there? There was always bound to... Have you noticed, and I don't mean to sound critical, but every big update there is, there's always some huge thing that goes wrong. You get all the little bugs, but there's always one big thing that happens every time there's an update. Yeah, there's going to be people who aren't too fussed about the tavern system and don't really use it and aren't bothered about it that much. But there'll be people that do, and that have them in the bases and have them looking good for their bases, and will be miffed about it not working. So yeah, that's definitely not good. Well, that's good that they do know about it then. Let's hope there's a fix rather quick. Because that's going to upset a lot of people. You follow me a minute, young lady. I don't know how good this is going to go.
My Helga has the Phoenix-like undercut.
She's going to run all the way down the stairs. Yep, here she comes. So, if we go over this way a minute, and then round here, where am I going? Well, yeah, that's definitely not good, and I suppose there's a lot of people already complaining and kicking off about that, but I'm not going to hold my breath on how quick we get a fix for that one, I'm afraid to say, because it'll probably be a little while. I will be very, very surprised if we get a hotfix like tomorrow. Excuse the noise outside if you can hear that. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that one. Okay. Did not expect that so easy. Didn't expect her to struggle, but... Go on. Now, obviously, I'm not going to keep this one and fully level her up. I'm just messing about to just theory testing, but because that's really poor, 40% health chance, that'd be really unlucky to get one with these type of stats. I just wanted to see.
Not like they are named or anything, and very easy to replace, especially with them in the new cages.
Yeah, I don't suppose it's the whole. Thank you, young lady, but don't need your name. That was just for a test, so ignore that one. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think it's the whole. They're not easy to replace. It's not like losing a Delincia and you spent all that time getting her and got lucky to get her and then leveled her up and she had a good weapon and good armor on her. Yes, they are going to be easy to replace. I think the frustration for people is the fact that people are going to have to go out again to get a barkeep again. Even though, yeah. I mean, yes, granted, it won't be a huge amount of work. You probably get one very, very easily, but it's something else that people are now going to have to do that they probably weren't thinking they were going to have to do. You know, people probably weren't expecting to be having to go out and find themselves another barkeep in the new update. And then again, it's if you do that and then place one in and then Funcom does a fix.
One up for fun and gave her a Stygian hat, grinning face with smiling eyes.
When there is a fix for it, would it fix it and then mean that they'd overlap your barkeep that's currently in? If there is a fix like that for it. Yeah, you can hear my two doggies there now. I don't know if this is because this hasn't been fixed yet or whether they are still stuck, but my two doggies are actually underneath the staging there. They'd fallen through. Now I left them because I didn't want to pull them out at the time because I thought I'll leave them under and then if a fix comes for the whole foundation issue, hopefully they'll be back up on top again, but obviously they're not as yet, so I'll have to now pull those chairs off and do that again and pull them out and rescue them again. So that's a shame. But yeah, on the plus side, liking what I'm seeing so far. Now with your on console with your left arrow key, there's only an option to get to journeys now, so you don't even have a.
At least my 3 level 20 fighters who were sitting at the bar survived.
Oh, well,
it seems the benches I used can only sit one person now.
That was lucky that yeah, at least your fighters didn't disappear. But now, as you can tell, there is only now on your wheel for the bazaar or for the journeys. So that's the bazaar with the new Argosian Observatory set, which does look very, very nice, I must admit. And then some other pieces, so that's still available there. I think everything else is still pretty much the same. No changes there to anything.
I like the observatory stuff. I'm building with it right now, beaming face with smiling eyes.
Oh, very cool. Would you recommend it then? Is it a good set? Would you say that's a set that you would recommend then? Is it as good as the picture looks and as they let it out to be from the way it was advertised?
It's not as good value as a proper DLC, but it's up there with Cathedral as an add-on.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I suppose any build sets that are put in that way won't necessarily be as good as a DLC, but if it's up there with the likes of Numidian and the Cathedral set, then I'd say that's rating it quite highly, to be honest. Let's do
I love the look of that new set.
a quick check up in here. So again, blacksmith taking a break and admiring the armour set. It's alright, not in trouble. Not going to see you skiving. They do sit down at the fire, but she seems to have just stood there for some reason a minute. Can't decide what she wants to do next, whether she's going back to work or going for food or a lie down. But yeah, that won't be staying. I just wanted to show that. Interesting set, isn't it? Yeah. You've only looked at it about a dozen times since you started working. Yeah. It'll look better once everybody's got their different outfits and they're all kitted up to what I want them to have. And again, I'll get all the others placed out. So sorcerer, and we'll get our priests put in, and there'll be a lot more people milling about. So it'll be a lot busier in here than what it is at the minute. Because I want to do their outfits bit by bit and get them all kitted up. And ready for business, as the saying goes. But yeah, certainly on the living settlement side to it, I'm liking what I'm seeing. There will definitely be a video coming on this very, very soon, where I'll go through it, showing it off where we've got everybody out and in place and doing their relevant jobs and wandering around. But again, your crafters can open doors, so if you've got the door shut, don't worry that they can't get in a room, because they do actually open the door. So if you've got a village set up, for example, with a perimeter wall, and you want your workshop door shut to stop other players walking in, bear in mind your crafters can open doors and walk through them. So they will close if you leave them on auto close, but if somebody happens to be passing and they just see it open, they might try and sneak through, so just be mindful of it. But it's good that they can open doors, so you can have it shut if you don't want it fully visible like that. Where's the cook gone? She wasn't on a bed. Where's she gone? Am I, if I've been going around the Twitch chat, am I walking away from her, or is she... Where's she gone? Where's the cook gone? Not even getting the benefits from her. That's the one that I had in there to place down. Well, that's not the active one that we had. Where's the cook that we had? Have we just found a bug there?
I like your biker babe look on your friends. Did she quit without proper notice?
Have we just found a bug there where our cook has disappeared? What do you girls think? I know you're liking that fire, but enjoy it while it lasts, because it ain't going to be there forever. Yeah, so that's a little bit concerning. Where has our lone fisherman gone that we had? She can't have gone down here because there's nothing down here for her to do. That's a little bit concerning. Because she's not
Check
down
follow
here.
list.
Yeah, I would, but there's that many on the list, we've got quite a lot because I do a lot of testing in my videos and everything. My list is there's over 100 at the minute. I have to have it that way because of all the different testing and what have you that I'm doing. But that's definitely a bit weird because she was here. We left her here. Gonna have to take a look into that one. Because she'd either be sat here turning this, or she'd be stood here. Now, yes, okay, you know.
She's cocked off with the barkeep. She's probably just nipped out for groceries, rolling on the floor laughing.
Yeah, she could have done. But it is a bit concerning if that's a bug, if people like them can disappear. Obviously we can get more of them.
Grinning, squinting face, grinning, squinting face, grinning, squinting face.
Yeah, she's nipped down the supermarket, yeah. So she's there. Now, it's because we've gone from the base and we came back again. But we've now got another one. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Because that may be an issue. Which is a bit of a concern, if that is a thing. So just be mindful of that one if you've got... Now, I don't know if it's just happening to the lone fisherman, because it's that particular NPC, or whether it's named cooks in general, or any cook. If this one disappears again, I'll try a tier 3 just to see what happens. And if it happens again, then obviously it's with the cooks themselves, so I'll make a note of it and make people aware of it. But yeah, again, now we can see there we're getting the benefit of the lone fisherman. That's because she's there and there. Where the other one went, I do not know. That is a bit weird. I thought for a minute she'd gone to bed, which is why I came up here. But she's not using the bathroom. And she's not on one of the beds. Hence why I came up here, because I thought, oh, she must be upstairs on one of the beds. Oh, what the heck happened there? That was weird. What was that? Oh, it's because I'm... Oh, we can actually use the bed by clicking on it now. I didn't know you could do that. So, yeah, that's new. Before, if you wanted to lay on a bed, you used to have to jump on them and then do an emote. But now, if you just tap your interact button on them, So I didn't even know about that. I thought we were stuck, but bad luck of it, your character can use the beds as well. You do get a bit stuck, so just be careful, but yeah. That is a thing as well, bad luck of it here. So that's interesting. Because I don't think we could do that before. I think when you just used to tap square before, it used to just register it as you setting the bed as your spawn point. So now, because I clicked on that one, I better go back up to my bed actually, which is all the way up here. And up again. And interact with that again, just to make sure I preset that as mine again. So yeah, bit more on the RP side of things now. You can properly lay down in your bed. I can't just toggle out of it, so I do have to use L2 to get out of that. Well, that's, yeah. Right, so what we'll do, because as always time is rapidly running away with us, we'll nip over to what was Freya's hovel, even though it's still called that, and go and have a look before we go anywhere. And we'll see now when I go back to the base again as well if that cook has disappeared. So let me know if anybody else has had that or experienced that, where they've put a named cook down and they've disappeared. And also whether you are PC or console, because it will be interesting to know if that's happened to anybody. As I say, I will try and do this in a video at some point, so I'm not going to access the quest just now, because obviously I want to do it in a separate video. But as we can see, very different up here now. That's all on fire there. People around the bonfire are all dead. The one skull wolf that was here is dead over there. Freya's no longer standing here, because she's actually now here. And obviously, as we can tell, we can interact with her and talk to her, and we can start the quest line and do that. But I don't want to do that in this stream, because obviously there's a lot involved to it, and if I do it now for one part, I won't be able to come back and do the first bit again for a video to record that starting from the beginning. We'd have to redo it all again. So rather than doing that, I'll do that in a video coming up very soon, so keep an eye out for that one. But the first one will certainly be on the living settlements, hopefully out, if not over this weekend, it'll be early next week, so keep an eye out for that one, where I'll show it off a bit more and introduce it properly, and we'll see all of the crafters wandering around. But yeah, as we can see, Freya's hovel definitely looks a little different now to what it did. This is still laid out as it was, kind of thing. Now that can't interact with that. But that looks like the legendary chest that you get stuff from, which is interesting. But yeah, so this, if you want to do the Freya questline, if you've seen it or heard about it and you can't remember where it is literally at Freya's hovel, just as where Freya was before. Now we've got a new Freya, who will obviously become the new companion, which we shall look at doing very soon. I don't think there's anything else that I'm missing. If anybody can think of anything that I haven't shown or that I've missed, do give me a heads up, and we'll go and have a look at it and see what's what. If you think I've missed something, do speak up and say, and we can go and take a look at it. or if anybody's got any other questions on anything that they want to know about, do ask, and if I can answer it, I will do. Not guaranteeing that I can, because I'm not going to know the answer to everything, because this is all new to me as well, of course. But as far as we know, the difficulty with these is all still the same. So you can still use your same old tactics for coming in here. Funny how that one looks like Freya this time, even though it's not, obviously. But yeah, this is another what can be a very dangerous area, but also can be good for your named crafters again as well, so do keep an eye on this place still. And of course your treasure for your treasure coffer. You can get a bountiful treasure chest from here if you get lucky. Of course your 3 Ymir priests here. This can be Ladagara, daughter of Ymir. I presume she still spawns here. So again, if she's here, be very mindful because she hits very, very hard. Well, there's also then this one in here. Lots of goodies that you can find out of chests and things again, as always. And then there's the guy that we need to come and speak to, I believe it is, that you're doing the Freya quest line, but obviously we won't go into that too much now because I don't want to spoil it. But that's where he is. You do have a chance of getting 1 or 2 other named fighter or archer people in here as well if you get lucky. But it's pretty good for your crafters as far as we know still, and these guys still hit just as hard as they used to do, so it's another interesting one. Well, yeah, if anybody's any questions, do fire away, do ask, and I can try and answer them, or collectively we can try and answer them, hopefully. Somebody's excited. Right, let's... Of course there'll be lots more to try out yet, like the checking the dungeons and what have you, that nothing's bugged out with those or wrong with those, of course. Just trying to think if there's anything else with the features that we've missed.
My bartender went missing. Is that something normal?
No, we're just saying about that, people's bartenders going missing. We don't believe that this should have happened. This shouldn't be a thing, and it does sound like it's a bug, and apparently Funcom are aware of it, and it is something they are hopefully working on, and hopefully we'll have a fix for us very soon. But yeah, people's barkeeps have disappeared apparently, but they will be easy to replace because you can get hold of them quite easily from the new cage system now. Look at this. Every time we come back now, this lot are all chilling. Supposed to be workers, look at them. Anybody who think they can get away with it because I'm doing a stream. Just admiring this armour constantly. These two are always sat by fire. Tell you. Got the easy life now, haven't they?
They're all on Smoko. Hi, sorry I'm late to the party, but can you give me a quick rundown of what's new in this update? I know there are the companions and worker.
You're not late at all, not a problem. Pretty much, yes, there's the usual bug fixes, hopefully. Does seem to possibly be 1 or 2 issues at the moment where people's barkeeps have disappeared.
That's unions for you.
But Funcom are aware of this apparently, and they are trying to work on it, so hopefully there'll be a fix coming soon. However, barkeeps are quite easy to get hold of now, because there are some cages with jailers. So if you play the Isle of Sipta at all, where you've got cages and a jailer that you can kill to get a key off, you can release somebody from that cage. I'll go back and show you them in a moment actually. So our other cook still seems to be here at the moment, so I still don't know what happened with that other one. I'll keep an eye on that. But yes, the big main feature of Chapter 1 for Age of Heroes is the living settlements, which is crafters can now wander around. So as you can see, this cook here's the lone fisherman. Unfortunately, a little bit janky where when they stand up from a chair, if it's too close to the table, they do seem to get stuck. But they will now go on either your stove. As you can see, rather than standing sort of stuck to it with the hand up, they'll kind of stir the little pot that's on the stove, or you can pot them on this if you have the spit roast, and they'll now actually, which she doesn't want to do for some reason, but okay, the spit roast will stand and sit and spin that around there rather than just standing like they used to do. Or they'll do some actual prep work now, as you can see there on the stove, so they'll stir the little pan or chop up their ingredients as if they're preparing some food for you, which is a really cool feature. I think that looks really good now. Also, you can interact with that person and take their weapon off them, take their clothing off them, and give them a nice new clothing set if you want to dress them up in something, or an armor set or whatever you, just as you could the barkeep, which is really good. They can level up just as a regular fighter or archer could do now. You could take them out, level them up, turn them into a fighter if you want to do. You don't have to do, but you've now got the option to do that. Different people, depending on what they are and where they're from, will have different stat numbers. Some people will be more likely to fight than others, so if you play PvP and you've got a base and you kit up your blacksmith, for example, they may be prepared to fight, whereas a cook may not fight. They may tend to run away, but you do have the ability.
Where did you get that fire pit from?
You do have the ability now to dress them up in some better armour. This spit roast was, I believe, from the previous or prior battle pass to that one. It may be in the bazaar again at some point in the store, I'm not entirely sure though. But hopefully that may be an item that you can now get from the bazaar, because they did say, I think, that anything that was in the battle passes, because they've only had 2, will eventually rotate in the store as well, so that anybody that missed them from the battle pass will have a chance to buy it in the store as well. But yeah, as you can see, your cooks will actually now look as if they're actually working in a kitchen, and chop up their ingredients and put them in the pan, rather than just standing with a hand over the mouth like they don't know what they're doing. And that applies with any crafter that you have, whoever it is. I haven't put all of mine down yet, but carpenters will do the same. They'll come and work on the benches, and then eventually they will, what they call, fulfill their needs, which you don't need to do anything with, as you just saw her doing there. They'll sit and eat, but it won't use up any of your food or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about having extra food in your fridges. Or they'll just sit and rest, because it's just purely an animation that they do. Or another thing that they will do, when they need some rest, if you put some beds down in your base, they'll find a bed that you've got nearby. So nobody's actually using these at the moment, but they'll come up and use these and they'll go for a sleep. So they'll rest in a bed. But while they are resting, so long as your crafter is still within range of the station that you've got them, or stations that you've got them assigned to, so your blacksmith, for example, if we go in here, our blacksmith at the moment is on this bench, which you can see there, she's available as a bladesmith on there. But if we go to the Tinkerer's bench, we can also get the benefits from her on that bench as well without her even being on there. We've now got the benefit of a crafter being on that bench without them even being there. And the same with your normal improved blacksmith bench. If we want to craft something but done with a bladesmith, we can still do it, because even though she isn't physically on the bench, you now don't need to move them from that bench and put them on that bench just to get the benefits. You'll still get the benefit of the bladesmith even though she's on that bench. You'll get all the benefits on there just the same. And if we cross over here, same with your smelters now. So if you've got 2 furnaces, as you can see, we've got Dale Lead Drinker here, so she's giving us the bonuses on that one. But if we wanted to turn this one on and start crafting something in here, it'll still get the same speed level bonus and whatever that she gives on this one as well, even though she's not sat on it. And it would be the same if you had 3. So even with 3 of them, you'd still get the same bonus on all 3.
My name Sorcerer is rocking a strength build with armor illusion to mad profit, and he is packing a scythe.
Oh, nice. That sounds very, very cool. Very nice. Now that's interesting. That's saying we're getting the benefit of the cook on here. Now I didn't think the cooks worked on the Fireball Cauldron, but that's telling me we're getting the benefit of having a cook in the base. I thought it was only the alchemists that gave you a bonus on them. But yeah, that is very, very interesting. But you'll find as you go around, and again, if you've got, even if your wheel is outside in your base, if you've got a taskmaster again, provided they're in range of each other, you'll have your taskmaster on your bench. But also, if you're putting people in the Wheel of Friendship, you'll still
So
get...
now that you can see what their numbers are all T, 4 bladesmith give the same, or is one better than the other?
As you'll see there, you still get the benefit of that taskmaster on the Wheel of Friendship, even though she's working on the bench, and vice versa. If she was stood at the wheel, you still get her benefits on the bench. You don't actually need them to be on that particular spot now, which is great. No, crafter wise, I believe with their actual damage, or shall we say like with the shield right armourer, with their armour bonus, it doesn't matter which particular shield right armourer you've got. So let's say early game you got yourself a shield right armourer from, let's say, Sinner's Refuge on Noob River, but then later on you got yourself a shield right armourer from Seppa Maru, that are the Relic Hunter faction, compared with the Exile faction on the river. The only difference I think that would be now, if we just use this Taskmaster for example, would be the amount of HP that they have as a human, because technically they are humans like your fighters and your crafters and fighters and your archers and entertainers now. The only differences I think would be their HP and their actual base stat numbers as a combatant that they'll come with. I don't think they'll have... Basically what I'm trying to say is I don't think a shield right from Seppa Maru would give you less of a armour boost
Flat
than...
crafting stations prioritize T4 crafters and not get pushed up by lower tiles
than obviously what a shield right from Noob River would give you. They will still give you the same amount of armour bonus no matter where they're from. It would just purely be their pure person sort of combat stats that may be different now, where she's got those particular... I think this one's a Relic Hunter Taskmaster, so her agility number may be different to a Taskmaster from, say, the Defari or something like that. But yeah, if you had a tier 3 blacksmith and you also have a named blacksmith. Your named blacksmith obviously will always give you the slightly higher bonuses than a tier 3, which is why even though you can get a level 1 blacksmith, a level 2 blacksmith, a level 3, and then a named, people will always typically try and say as soon as you can get hold of a tier 3, a 3 is better than a 1 or a 2, but ultimately your end aim is to get yourself a tier 4 blacksmith, so that obviously whatever it is that you're doing, not only because they're a named person will they give you the bonus. If you've got a bladesmith like we have here, for example, if you craft a weapon with a tier 3 blacksmith, it'll give a certain amount of damage and armor penetration bonus to that weapon. But if you craft it with a tier 4 crafter, it'll give you a bit more, but then it'll give you slightly more again, I believe, if I'm correct in saying that on the damage scale, if you do it with a bladesmith, which is what this blacksmith is that we've got now. And again, she's just walked out there now, but as you can see, I've come on this bench. I'm still getting the benefits of having that bladesmith on the bench, even though she's not at work, because she's, surprise surprise, enjoying the fire again. But this isn't going to be here forever, so they need to make the most of it. But yeah, tier 4 named people are always your better option to get hold of, especially early game. If you can get lucky and get yourself level 3s, they're always going to be better than level 1 and 2, just as fighters and archers are, and just as entertainers are. A level 3 entertainer will always give you a bit more of a corruption removal than what a tier 1 or a tier 2 will give you, but ultimately you want tier 4s at the end of it. So realistically speaking, your big main 2 in your base at mid to late game would be your bladesmith, blacksmith, that's the one with the little dagger symbol that we've got here, and then your shield.
And doesn't change their status for crafting.
Shield right armourer is your armourer version for making armour, which gives you a tier 4 will give you more armour value to an armour piece. However, again, if you craft it with the shield right armourer, they will give you a higher armour value to that piece of armour in comparison to a durability armourer, where a durability armourer again will still give you that tier 4 level boost, but they won't give you quite as much armour value as the shield right, but they'll give you more of a durability bonus to your armour. And again, if you use the scout right, which is a weight reduction armourer, you'll still get the bonus of the tier 4, but the extra bonus that they'll give you is a weight reduction, so the armour will be not as heavy to wear because it's been made with the scout right, which reduces the overall weight of the armour. But ultimately tier 4s are your better crafters that you would want at end game for your crafting values and what have you. I've still got to redress all these guys yet, they're still not fully kitted up. She's just going back downstairs again now. I don't know if it's because she's not registering whether she should be for where all the seating is upstairs for food and what have you, but I've got all the rest of them to place out yet, and I want to.
Jailers on Sipter are not wearing Silent Legion armor anymore. The one at River Watch Keep is wearing Barracan River.
Ah, right, that's interesting to know then. So because they've introduced the jailers onto Exiles now, rather than keeping the jailers in Silent Legion on Sipter, they've also changed it on there, so they're just wearing the armour for where they're from as well. Ah, well, that's interesting. Thank you for that. Yeah. See, lots of things to discover and find out. But yeah, so when you're laying your tables out, guys, just bear in mind chairs will need to be a reasonable distance from the table, because otherwise, unfortunately, your people like to get stuck for some reason. Not sure why, but it seems to be that if it's quite close to the table, they do get a little bit stuck. Yes, it looks a bit crazy that they're further away from the table, but it seems to be when they come out of the animation and they get stuck, they end up stuck on the table. Again, this could hopefully get fixed in the near future. We're thinking when they stop like this that it's just a cooldown period, so in other words she's cancelled that animation now that she's just done. So the cooldown's now taken into effect, and then she'll then either come over here and work on this, or she'll go and sit and eat again, or she'll go off upstairs and go and get some rest. But obviously the more you start placing out, the more people you're going to have walking around, and it's certainly going to make your bases look more lifelike and more realistic and give it a different atmosphere, that's for definite. Yeah, pretty good on the whole. Obviously a few little teething problems with mapping for them getting stuck on tables. May have to reorganise this as to how we have it, see what goes on. Bit of a concern that that other cook disappeared, but this one's still here. And we've been away from the base and come back again, but I'll see what happens again when I leave the area and come back again. See if we have the same issue and see if she disappears as well. Whether it's just a random glitch or whether it happens regularly. And again, whether that's just with the lone fisherman or if it happens with any level cook. Again, it's something I'll look into and figure out what's going on with that one, because that is a bit of a concern. And also, if we not that, find our priest as well. Again, you can't just place them out, but if you place them in the world, totally interact with them, you can take the weapons off them, you can take their clothing off them and change it for them. Pathing is definitely off a little bit, the way they walk into door frames, but she doesn't want to go on her altar straight away yet, so where's she going? Let's see. She's going to walk off through the wheel. Where exactly is she going? Where are you going, young lady?
It definitely is something that should have been in the game.
Okay, well that's a mix-up for a start.
Room for improvement.
And you guys have all just witnessed that. That says a set high priest, but she's come over and stood on the Ymir altar. Obviously we're not getting any benefit of her being there because she's not the right priest. So why she's gone and stood on the Ymir altar when she's set is another issue. But as you can see again, you can, like I say, give them a weapon, take the weapon off them, change the clothing, do whatever you like with them. Well, that can't be right. Why is she recognising that when that is the Ymir altar and she's a set priest? She should have just gone straight onto the set altar, which is obviously that one. So even though she's gone to stand on the other altar, which is a different religion, we're still getting the benefit of the priest on this one. Why would she not stand on this one? That doesn't make sense. Why would they go onto the Ymir altar when they're not a Ymir priest? They're a set priest. I think something with the coding has gone a little bit awry there somehow. Yeah. Lots to check out and investigate here and figure out what's gone on, because something's a little bit amiss in some places. This is what happens with new updates and new things, and things go a little bit skew-whiff at times, don't they? But hopefully this is something that will all be looked into.
Multitasking.
But I don't get that. She's gone to the Ymir altar, but it's a set priest. Yeah. Very mysterious, that one. I'll have to figure out what's going on with that. It may be something with the pathing, but it was funny how she's gone to an altar that's a completely different religion to her, and not the one that is their religion. But hey ho, these things all happen. Plus side is we are still getting the benefit of that priest on the set altar, even though that's not the one she belongs to, but at least the bonus of having them is working. But yeah, on the whole, pretty good. Is it enough to keep people interested for a long time? Possibly for short duration. Living settlements, yeah, great feature. Needs a little bit of work in places. Definitely does make your bases look more lifelike, more real, absolutely. Does it need work? Certainly could say it does need a little bit of work. But with a few tweaks and improvements, it could definitely be something cool. Makes your base feel a bit more lived in. Jailers are a cool addition. Another way of getting people out of a cage.
Be a case of the priest being closer to that altar.
You're probably not going to know what person you're going to get out of what cage when. Are we going to be able to get T4s and crafters from them? Possibly, we don't know. Supposedly, crafters are now available from the cages at the end of purges.
Balls still falling in the floor.
But we don't know whether that's the thing as yet. Our purge master is not around at the moment, so I'm sure once he's able to do a video on that, he will investigate whether crafters are now available from the purge cages, which if they are, that will be awesome. But we'll have to wait for our good friend Audu to look into that when he's back working and doing his vids again. I'm sure he'll investigate that one and see what's happening. With regards to the falling through the floor issue, I haven't seen the patch notes, so I don't know if they said in them that they have actually fixed that. We haven't just been falling through the floor now we've been on here, but to be fair, we have had times a lot on this server where we've been on and off and none of us have fallen through the floor and everything's been fine, and then occasionally it's happened. The devs did say they were aware of it, but whether it has been fixed or not, I don't actually know, so I'd have to go back and have a look at the patch notes and see. Hopefully, fingers crossed it has, because that has been a really big issue that has been going on for a long, long time, and obviously puts a lot of people off. So a slightly rocky start to the start of Chapter 1, shall we say. Cool features with a few extras there, with the living settlements that I didn't know about, being able to tell them what furniture or beds to not use, or things they can interact with like a fire or your armor display stands. That's cool, I didn't know about those. Few little janks here and there that need working on with it. All in all, pretty good. Yeah, I'm sure the jailers will be a nice addition. Can we say at this stage whether it's going to bring people back? Probably too early to say yet. I can't see it being, if I'm being brutally honest, hugely long-term good for people. I'm sure people will jump on, they'll check it all out, get the base going, get the crafters all geared up and sorted. They'll play for a bit, they'll check out the jailer cages, they'll try the new purges if crafters are in them. They'll go out and check the jailer cages, like I say, see what people they can get. So I'll try and get a few versions of Angvar, the new companion, see if he really is good as people say he is. They'll do the new Freya quest, get a few versions of her, see how it goes. But I suppose time will tell again, with the way the devs are looking at doing the new things now and waiting longer periods to get stuff working before they bring new content again. Was it like every 6 months or something now? Is there enough in this to keep people playing for 6 months? Possibly not, but again, I don't want to say at this stage because we literally are just on the first day of it. Let's see how it goes, see what happens, and see what people think. Hopefully these
Not
issues
Angvar,
get...
It's Lufi.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, so just testing. Just testing, see who's listening. Of course, Angvar is Freya's husband, who was taken as part of it. But just testing, see who's listening. Well, yes, Lufi, or Lufay, however you want to pronounce his name. Probably butchering that, but yeah. There we go. See, so much to take in already after. I'm even getting his name wrong. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at the moment for chapter 1. And we have run over just by a couple of minutes. It's already 9 o'clock, just where has 2 hours gone. Again, it's just never enough time to look at everything. A couple of videos coming up shortly, hopefully, next week, where we'll go into detail a bit more with each different part of it. And we'll make a start on the Freya quest line for the first one, I think. See how that goes, introduce people to that, and a video on the bits and pieces of what's going on. So thank you to each and every one of you for being here. Absolutely awesome to see you all turning out on a Thursday for me, rather than a Friday, which is great. Hope you found this informative and hope you found it helpful. If you did, do me a huge favour, leave a like for the algorithm so it pushes this out to more and more people. Leave a question or a comment down below if you've got one, and as I say, if I can answer it, I'll do my best to do so. If you're not yet subscribed, do consider doing so. Totally free for you to do. It just helps me out a ton as well. We're so close to the 1,000 subs now. It's getting very, very exciting.
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Probably a lot we didn't get to still, but that's what videos are for, and lots to explore in this new age. So yeah, thank you once again all of you for being here.
Thanks for the info. Good stream, have a good day.
Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will hopefully
take care everyone.
Catch some of you in Angvar stream possibly on Sunday, or in a video next week, or if not, I'll hopefully catch you back here Friday next week, 7 PM UK time, and we'll carry on a bit more. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Bye bye for now.
Face blowing a kiss, waving hand. Take care everyone. Nice one labs, here good time.